Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to use the Reducto segmentation software. It starts off by creating a new segment and you pick a list, and so I'll use the daily deal list. And then if you want to, you can combine lists together with the union button. So we'll just, for example, combine it with the ARS store newsletter. And we can see that it added the addition, then we did a union. The number in parentheses shows us how many members are in our segment so far. So the number went up when we added the additional list. Now we could filter. We could, let's say, get the singletons. So where the order count equals 1 for the customer pool. So that reduced us from 5.6 million down to 844,000. We could combine filters. So I can start a filter group with the left paren, and I want to AND them together. So we will filter store category. What's a good one? Let's say bracelets. Let me apply that. And you can see it says deferred up here, so it hasn't run the filter yet until we close the group. And then I can say, let's look at paw print or animal icon from the SKU category designations. And let's also filter it by people who have shopped on ARS. And then to execute those, you can see our AND logic is in there. We could have done ORs, but we did AND. So it's people who purchase from the bracelet store category and have bought purple paw product and have shopped on ARS. So we close the group. And you can see here gateway query. I didn't have ARS shoppers in my cache, so it's going to a gateway application to run the database query and then to return the data to the software. So it's good to have things in cache when you're exploring segments. So it'll take a little moment because ARS shoppers is a big segment. Alright. And so that combination of filters reduced it down to 14,726 people. If we're happy with this, then we can save it. Save it to my desktop. And open that, we can see that we have our segmentation definition up here at the top, so everything we did, so when we made it and everything we did to produce the segment. And then below it we have the 14,726 account IDs that are in the mailing. So I'll close that. And what we would typically do next is go to Cadmus, and then you'd sign in and you'd be off to the races importing the data. So if you want to know the steps on using Cadmus, that'll be in different documentation, different videos. But at this point, you should be able to log into Cadmus, import your segment, and continue from there. Let me go back to the software, show you a few more things. So you heard me talk about the cache for caching all of your segments, and you saw that things that were in cache were fast and things that weren't in cache were slow. You can open the cache, which is just a folder of files on your system, and you can see everything that's cached. If you wanted to, you could delete some of these files, and then the next time you tried to access them through additions or filters, they would be queried again and you'd have fresh data instead of cached data. But if you're exploring for segments that might be interesting, you want everything to be cached. If you're sending out a mailing and you know exactly what you want, you probably want to clear the cache and get fresh data. So that's why you have these options. And if you're starting out with nothing and you want to explore, you can hit pre-cache, which will take an hour or so to do. But it'll pre-cache all the common selections, so all the lists and all the common filters, and that way all of those things are very fast, letting you explore quickly. But you don't have to do that if you know what you want and you don't mind it taking the real-time query time to pull the list. But I recommend if you're just exploring, pre-cache, do some other work for an hour, then come back and explore. So the reset button does exactly that. You can reset. You can create a new list. So this time we'll get the ARS store newsletter. And let's look at these filters some more. We have an order amount filter. You can specify if the order amount should equal, be less than, greater than, less than or equal, greater than or equal, and then the amount. So if we wanted to find people who have placed orders that are greater than or equal to $100, we could apply that. If we wanted to find people with an average order amount greater than $40, so across all their orders they average 40. Total spend filter, so if we're looking for people who have spent more than $500 across all their orders, so combined, then we could use this one. If we're looking for people who have only ordered once. Item ID filter, comma delimited, so you can put in multiple items separated by commas. On the other side, we have the store category filters, so all the active store categories appear there. Historic categories that no longer exist won't be in this list, so you can't go back in time with this. SKU categories used by the buyers in Julissa. So we have SKU category 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if you use, one of these, you could use all of these. You can combine them. But I'll warn you that there aren't products for every combination of values. So you have to kind of know what you're doing if you're going to do more than one at a time. So if you don't, you might want to ask Julissa or somebody on the buying team, if your combination of SKU categories would have any product. Or you could run the filter and you'd find out pretty quickly. Country filter. So this is the filter on where the shoppers are. So if you wanted to target customers in Canada, this would let you do that. And then of course the site filter, which finds shoppers from those sites. So in review, we have the new button to start a new list. Reset button takes you back to square one. Union button lets you combine lists together. The parens lets you open a group of filters that you want to treat as a group that you can use Boolean logic. You can AND them all together. So create a group of filter 1 and filter 2 and filter 3, or filter 1 or filter 2 or filter 3. And so the parens can open a group, do some filters, close the group, then they all run. You don't have to use filter groups. You can just filter a la carte one at a time, and that's fine too. Save will save your segment to your computer. Open cache lets you see your cache files, and you can delete ones that you want to have refreshed the next time you access them. Clear cache deletes all the files in your cache. And pre-cache will fetch all the commonly used files. That'll make it much faster for you to explore segments. And then the Cadmus button takes you to the import page in Cadmus. So you'd log in and import. Thank you very much.